In the legislative system, laws are created through a specific process. In Maryland, the elected officials who enact these laws are members of an elite body known as the Maryland General Assembly. These are their stories.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to this episode of Old Line Politics, your source for all things government news in the state of Maryland. Today is Tuesday, January 24th, 2023, and in this episode, I will be covering the historic inauguration of both Governor Wes Moore and Lieutenant Governor Miller, as well as recapping Week 2 of the Maryland General Assembly. So let's get started. On Monday the 16th, Brooke Learman was sworn into office by Governor Hogan as the 34th Comptroller of the state of Maryland, making her the first female to hold this position in state history. For those who don't know, the Comptroller's office audits taxpayers for compliance, handles delinquent tax collection, and enforces license and unclaimed property laws. The agency also publicizes forgotten bank accounts, insurance benefits, and other unclaimed assets of taxpayers. She's a student of the University of Texas School of Law and was the president of the American Constitution Society while attending. After graduating, she returned to Maryland and completed a clerkship in the U.S. Federal District Court in Baltimore and Greenbelt. She's been a state delegate for Baltimore City since 2015 and has sat on numerous committees such as the Appropriations Committee and the Environment and Transportation Committee. Congratulations, Madam Comptroller, on your new position. Later that evening, the Senate convened briefly at 8 p.m., where they introduced Senate Bills 141 through 153 into first reading before assigning them to their appropriate committees. They also introduced Bond Initiative Number 2, Referred Budget and Taxation, listing the following projects and amounts. Renovation of GFWC Women's Club of Linthicum Clubhouse, located in Anne Arundel County, with a requested amount of $50,000. Soup for the Soul in Baltimore, with a requested amount of $500,000, and the ARC Central Chesapeake Region at Linthicum in Anne Arundel County with a requested amount of $400,000. Before adjourning, they ended their session with a Martin Luther King Jr. Day address given by Senator Jill P. Carter out of District 41 in Baltimore City. Across the hall, the House of Delegates convened at 8 p.m. and began by presenting a resolution to the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority for 115 years of service, sisterhood, and commitment to the state of Maryland. Congratulations to Alpha Kappa Alpha. From there, they entered House Bills 145 through 169 into first reading and assigned them to their corresponding committees. They ended their session with Martin Luther King Jr. Day remarks given by Delegate C.T. Wilson out of District 28 in Charles County. Tuesday was more eventful for both the House and Senate as they prepare for Wednesday's inauguration of the new leadership. So I'm going to read both House and Senate actions simultaneously because there's a certain procedure that each chamber must follow leading up to Inauguration Day. The Senate convened at 10 a.m. and began by introducing Senate Bill 154 into first reading before assigning it to the committee. The House also convened at 10 a.m. where they began by sending a message to the Senate. Message from the House to the Senate. Certify election returns. The House proposed a joint session of the General Assembly on Wednesday the 18th for the purpose of witnessing an opening of the certified election returns by the Speaker for the offices of Governor and Lieutenant Governor in the House chamber. Message from the Senate to the House. Certify election returns adopted. The Senate, in turn, let the House know that they received the message and agreed to witness the opening of the certified election returns. Message from the Senate to the House. Inauguration of the Governor adopted. So this message invited the House over to the Senate to participate in the inauguration of the Governor-elect and the Lieutenant Governor-elect and the administration of the oath of office by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Maryland. They also requested an appointment of an 8-person committee, 4 from each chamber, to escort the Governor-elect and the Lieutenant Governor-elect to the House chambers for the swearing-in, after which they will escort the Governor to the State House for the inaugural address. Message from the House to the Senate. Inauguration of Governor. The House sent their message to the Senate accepting the invitation to the inauguration ceremony and agreed to assign members to help escort. So you can imagine these messages being passed back and forth from the House to the Senate, but in this case, all the messages were read and adopted simultaneously. All of these steps are official procedures that are followed upon the election of the new leadership in the state. Historically, it used to be that the Senate president swore in the newly elected governor in the Senate chambers, but since 1857, the chief judge or justice now swears them in. By law, they must be sworn in between noon and 2 p.m. on the third Wednesday in January. After all these messages were read, the House finished up with remarks by Senator Susan Lee out of District 16 in Montgomery County, who was appointed as the 72nd Secretary of State. With over 2 decades in Annapolis, she has served on various positions, including the Judicial Proceedings Committee, the Women's Caucus, and served as the Senate Majority Whip for the last 6 years. To Secretary Lee, congratulations on your new position. On Wednesday, the Senate convened at 9:15 and entered Senate Bills 155 through 163 into first reading and assigned them to their committees. Next, they introduced Bond Initiative Number 3, Referred Budget and Taxation, with the following projects and amounts. The Bias Yakov Park Heights Campus Facility Renovation and Expansion in Baltimore, requesting $500,000. The Owings Mills High School Auditorium and Scoreboard in Baltimore, requesting $625,000. The Community Hydrotherapy Center, Jules School in Baltimore, requesting $350,000. The Lisbon Volunteer Fire Department Community Room in Howard County, requesting $300,000. The Community Ecology Institute at the Green Pharmacy Garden in Howard County, requesting $150,000. The Community Ecology Institute at Freetown Farm in Howard County, requesting $250,000. The Phillips School in Laurel, requesting $125,000. The VFW Post 7472 Infrastructure Repairs in Howard County, requesting $400,000. The Mental Health Unit at the Detention Center in Howard County, requesting $350,000. Animal Control Expansion in Howard County, requesting $400,000. The Rockbird Branch Park, Montgomery Road area in Howard County, requesting $350,000. The St. Paul Street Placemaking in Howard County, requesting $500,000. And for the Long Reach Village Center Shared Kitchen in Howard County, requesting $400,000. From there, they left the chambers and headed to the House for the joint session as previously mentioned. Before the joint session, the House convened at 9:15 and introduced House Bills 170 through 186 into first reading and committee assignment. They then introduced Bond Initiative Number 1, Referred Appropriations, which included projects also covered by the Senate. Like the Senate, their initiative included funds for the renovation of the GFWC Women's Club in Linthicum Clubhouse and the Arc Central Chesapeake region at Linthicum. Also on that list was the Blair High School Pavilion in Montgomery County, requesting $68,000, and the Ujima Cove in Baltimore City, requesting $300,000. They also introduced Bond Initiative Number 2, Referred Appropriations, where projects include the Bernie House, also known as the Alma's Angel House 2, in Anne Arundel County, with a requested amount of $200,000, and for the MITAG's Emergency Generator Replacement to Enhance Resiliency in Anne Arundel County, with a requested amount of $850,000. At that point, the Senate joined them for the joint session. As the joint session convened, a message was read from the Secretary of State. The message by the Secretary of State presented a certified copy of the election results for the offices of Governor and Lieutenant Governor. They also presented a message from the Board of Elections seconding the certification. From there, both chambers certified the election results. At the inauguration ceremony, Chief Justice Fader of the Maryland Supreme Court gave the oath of office to Aruna Miller as she became the first Indian American politician to be sworn in as Lieutenant Governor for the state of Maryland. Let's listen.
Welcome. I am Aruna Miller, and I thank you for your trust and confidence in me to be your 10th Lieutenant Governor of Maryland.
Immigrating to the United States from India when she was 7, she attended Missouri University of Science and Technology, graduating with a degree in civil engineering. She spent 25 years working at the local Department of Transportation in Montgomery County and represented District 15 in the Maryland House of Delegates from 2010 to 2018. To Lieutenant Governor Miller, on behalf of all citizens in the state of Maryland, we wish you the best of luck, and we congratulate you on your new position as second in command to our great state of Maryland. Also making history was Governor Wes Moore, as he became the first black governor for the state of Maryland. Born in Tacoma Park, his family returned to Maryland when he was 14 after living briefly in New York. After attending Valley Forge Military College and Johns Hopkins University, he went on to serve as a captain and a paratrooper with the U.S. Army's 82nd Airborne, leading soldiers in combat in Afghanistan. He also served as a White House Fellow, advising on issues of national security and international relations. His life's work also includes being a best-selling author, small business owner, Rhodes Scholar, and former CEO of one of the nation's largest anti-poverty organizations. After taking the oath of office, he took to the podium to deliver his first inaugural address. Let's listen.
Hello, Maryland! God bless you all. God bless you all. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for the honor that you have bestowed upon me and Aruna Miller as your next Lieutenant Governor.
After thanking family, friends, and distinguished guests for attending, he went on to detail his agenda for the state of Maryland during his term in office.
We do not have to choose between giving our children an excellent education and an equitable one. We will ensure that every single one of our students and every single one of our children knows that this state loves and needs them. We will invest in our special education students, our English language learners, our LGBTQIA students, students experiencing homelessness, and every single child who needs a little extra help. And we will see to it that mental and behavioral health challenges do not prevent our children from getting the education that they deserve as well. And while Maryland is home to some of the best and some of the greatest institutions of higher education in this country, something we should be very, very proud of, we must end this myth that young people must attend one of them in order to be successful. Every student in Maryland will know that there are paths to their success and their fulfillment. And those paths begin with high quality and highly inclusive schools from pre-K to 12th grade. Today is not the victory. Today is the opportunity. It is our opportunity to lead with love. It is our opportunity to create with compassion. It's our opportunity to fight fearlessly for our future. Maryland, our time is right now. Our time is now to build a state that for those who came before us that they fought for, and it's a state that leaves no one behind. This is not a slogan, it is the fulfillment of a hope. Maryland, it's time, let's lead and let's do it together. God bless you all, and thank you so much.
To Governor Moore, on behalf of all citizens in the state of Maryland, we congratulate you on your new position and want to wish you the best of luck as you take the reins as our new leader of our great state of Maryland. On Thursday, the Senate introduced Senate Bills 164 through 167 into first reading and committee assignment. They then went on to introduce Bond Initiative Number 4, Referred Budget and Taxation, which include the following projects. Family restrooms and adult changing stations in Howard County, requesting $300,000. The Clover Hill House in Howard County, requesting $500,000. The Flash Bus Stop in Howard County, requesting $400,000. The Family Support Center in Howard County, requesting $200,000. The Patuxent Commons in Howard County, requesting $500,000. Safe Haven Equine Warriors in Howard County, requesting $300,000. The Howard County Welcome Center Interior Renovation in Howard County, requesting $750,000. The Rockburn Branch Park Landing Road area in Howard County, requesting $200,000. The Howard County Fairgrounds, requesting $600,000. The Howard County Veterans Monument at Vivian C. Milley Bailey Park, requesting $500,000. Centennial Park West area existing restroom facility renovation in Howard County, requesting $300,000. The MITAG's emergency generator replacement to enhance resiliency, and the Bernie House in Anne Arundel County. The House of Delegates convened at 10 a.m. and began by introducing House Bills 187 through 193 into first reading and committee assignment. They also introduced Bond Initiative Number 3, Referred Appropriations, for projects including the Baltimore Safe Haven Expansion Project in Baltimore City for $1 million, Solar panels for Ridge VFD in St. Mary's County requesting $200,000. Calvert Health Medical Center Da Vinci machine in Calvert County requesting $500,000. Solar panels for Bay District VFD in St. Mary's County requesting $300,000. St. Paul Street placemaking in Howard County $500,000. And the VFW Post 7472 infrastructure repairs, as we've mentioned before. Also on this list was the Clover Hill House, the Animal Control expansion, Centennial Park West area existing restroom facility renovation, Community Ecology Institute at the Green Pharmacy Garden, the Howard County Fairgrounds, and the Safe Haven Equine Warriors. They then went on to introduce Bond Initiative Number 4, Referred Appropriations. This initiative included projects that were introduced by the Senate earlier in the week. On Friday, the Senate convened for a pro forma session where they introduced Senate Bills 168 through 207 into first reading and committee assignment. They also introduced one last bond initiative for the week, Bond Initiative Number 5, Referred Budget and Taxation. These projects included the Frederick Youth Center in Frederick County requesting $162,000, the York Turnpike Toll House, Repair and Restoration in Baltimore requesting $320,000, Chesapeake Bay Trust Green Campus in Anne Arundel County requesting $250,000, the Quality Child Care Development Center in Montgomery County requesting $1.25 million, the Kelly Park Field Lighting in Montgomery County requesting $250,000, the CSAAC Senior Autistic Adult Redevelopment Program in Montgomery County requesting $250,000, the Bowie Mitchellville Diamond Foundation Center in Prince George's County requesting $600,000, the Disney Bell American Legion Post 66 in Prince George's County requesting $200,000, and the Genesee Valley Outdoor Learning Center Welcome Center located in Baltimore requesting $350,000. They then went on to receive an executive order by the governor. Executive Order, Reorganization of State Government, the Department of Service and Civic Innovation. For the purpose of establishing the Department of Service and Civic Innovation and assigning the units of the Governor's Office on Service and Volunteerism, the Governor's Commission on Service and Volunteerism, and Maryland Corps to the Department of Service and Civic Innovation, requiring the Department of Service and Civic Innovation to perform certain duties, establishing the role of Secretary of Service, and generally relating to reorganization of the government. Within the first 10 days of their administration, the governor could administer an executive order restructuring government that would otherwise require a bill through the legislature. From there, they have 50 days to reject it, or if they do not act, it is enabled. Over in the House, they began with a reading of the House Resolution for Asian American Pacific Islander Community in recognition of the Lunar New Year. Delegate Lily Key out of District 15 in Montgomery County made her remarks before the presentation by the Asian American Pacific Islander Legislative Caucus. They then presented House Bills 194 through 214 into first reading and committee assignment. From there, they introduced Bond Initiative Number 5, Referred Appropriations, which included the Overlay High School scoreboard and gymnasium upgrades. Before adjourning, they received the message from the executive, which was the executive order, where they referred the executive order to the House Rules Committee. So to recap Week 2, new leadership was established in Maryland for the positions of Governor, Lieutenant Governor, Secretary of State, and Comptroller. The Senate introduced 67 bills and 38 bond initiatives. We have 89 bills sitting in the Budget and Taxation Committee. We have 44 bills sitting in the Education, Energy, and Environment Committee, 46 in the Finance Committee, and 73 in the Judicial Proceedings Committee. The House of Delegates introduced 70 bills and 31 bond initiatives. Currently, there are 53 bills in the Appropriations Committee, 24 in the Economic Matters Committee, 48 in the Environment and Transportation Committee, 27 in the Health and Government Operations Committee, 50 in the Judiciary Committee, and 58 in the Ways and Means Committee. Alright, so that wraps up a busy Week 2 at the Maryland General Assembly. I have a few important dates coming up to look forward to this week. So we continue to have a whole bunch of committee hearings going on this week for many bills, and soon we'll start seeing bills come back from their committees and go into second reading. What is second reading? So in second reading, the bill is reported back to the floor by the committee with its recommendation, either favorable, unfavorable, favorable with amendment, or no recommendation. If the bill is amended by the committee, a vote is taken on the amendment, and if passed, another vote is taken on the bill as amended. Amendments can then be offered from the floor by any member. After all amendments are considered, the presiding officer orders the bill to be printed for its third and final reading. If you haven't already done so, go check out the Maryland General Assembly website so you too can track important dates, legislative movements, and session details. Their website makes it super easy to track bills as they move through the legislative process. As always, please like, subscribe, and follow Old Line Politics on social media to stay up to date on all things government news in the state of Maryland. Thanks for tuning in. Till next time.